Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. Today we have another exciting story to tell. So, if you're ready, then we're ready. So let's start. The show is set in 2040 Tokyo, where Reito Mizuhara, a science researcher, talks to his childhood friend Elisa and confesses his longtime love for her. However, Elisa questions him for his sudden confession, despite knowing each other from kindergarten all the way to university. Reito answers that his confession is more like a farewell speech, as he's leaving. Reito further reveals that he is being diagnosed with multiple sclerosis and needs to be hospitalized immediately. Elisa starts worrying as she quickly taps her wrist gadget, and a pop-up screen opens. She searches for the disease and relaxes after learning that the disease can be cured. She tells him that through AI-controlled cell regeneration, he can be treated. However, Reito tells her that the regeneration process will take around 5 years, and until that time, he must be placed in a cryogenic cell, and he won't be conscious during this whole time. Due to this reason, he had to confess before leaving. Elisa asks him what he expects from her, and Reito replies that he doesn't want her to wait for him for 5 years when he's asleep. Elisa feels hurt and walks away from Reito. Reito leaves for the hospital with his elder brother, Ryu, and his younger sister, Mehuru. His sister asks about his confession to Elisa, and Reito tells her that the confession ended in an argument. Reito then begins questioning his place in the modern world, where everybody is under the influence of advanced technology. Reito arrives at the hospital where he meets his doctor, Takagi. The doctor reassures him that his vitals are normal, and he will be able to recover well during his time in the cryogenic chamber. The doctor adds that AI will take up to 3 to 5 years to cure him completely, and after waking up, he will have to go through some tests as part of the final checkup. Before entering the cell, Reito thanks the doctor for all of his help. Reito's family wishes him luck, and Reito remembers that he is wearing a special pendant around his neck, which the nurse tells him that he can't wear inside the cryogenic cell. Suddenly, they hear some noises, and Reito recognizes Elisa's voice. Begging the doctor to let her see Reito, Ryu lets her in, claiming her as part of the family. Elisa tells Reito that she is here to say goodbye to him. Reito feels emotional and gives her his special pendant. He asks her to keep the pendant carefully and to wait for his return. Elisa tears up and accepts it, promising to give it back to him once he returns. Later, Reito is placed in a cryogenic cylindrical chamber, covered in electrolyte liquid. He sinks in and looks at his family from the glass top. He sees Elisa's face as the last person and appreciates her beauty before falling asleep. 5 years later, Reito opens his eyes and notices a purple-haired woman. He thinks she is Elisa, but soon discovers that she is someone else. He further looks around and sees himself surrounded by female medical staff. The girl asks him to shower and to get a diagnostic run. A curvy female doctor runs all the tests on Reito and reassures him that his body is disease-free and now he's cured. Reito wishes to meet Dr. Takagi to thank him personally, but the female doctor informs him that he is not here anymore. Reito then inquires about his family, and the purple-haired woman arrives there and tells him that a lot has happened while he was sleeping. She then asks him to come along. Later in the car, Reito notices the car's windows are completely covered. The purple-haired girl introduced herself to Reito as his caretaker, Myra Suo, who would handle all of his interactions. Myra informs Reito that 1 year after he went to sleep, a virus called MK virus appeared and it spread worldwide, killing infected people in just 3 days. She adds that the virus spread rapidly and became a global pandemic. Reito asks whether a cure or a vaccine has been made yet, but Mira tells him that the AI is still working on it but hasn't successfully formed any vaccine. Mira then removes the blinds from the window and exposes the world to Reito, showing him the refugee camps. Mira adds that half of the human population has been wiped out, and the rations are now distributed statistically. Reito is horrified to learn all of this. He quickly jumps out of the car and sees the dirty surroundings. He notices a girl and tries to talk to her, but she runs away screaming. Reito wonders what has happened and sees women huddling around him, looking at him in shock. He runs away and thinks of this world as strange until Mira stops him and confronts him, revealing that all the women around him see him that way because there are no males left in the world. The MK virus, known as the male killer virus, has eradicated all men from this world, and only women live now. She adds that only a few men survive due to cryonics, but 99% of the male population has died. Reito asks her why he survived, to which she answers that he probably managed to live because of either having multiple sclerosis or being in the cryogenic treatment cell. She also reveals to Reito that he is one of the 5 men who have survived and thus is a rare resource in the world. A woman jumps on Reito as she hasn't seen a man in ages, but the female guards come and take her. Reito is taken aback, but Miura reveals that he will have to impregnate these women to continue the population. Later, in the lab, Reito watches a documentary montage on the current situation. The women in the video narrate that the virus has wiped out all men, and thus, the world is now controlled by a group of women called UW, United Women. The UW has decided to perform tests on the surviving males to form a vaccine, mobilizing all AI. The video also reveals that one of the males who survived, named Number 1, might have a genetic code that can provide a vaccine. The video ends and Miura informs Reito that only a few people in authority know about his existence, thus warning him to be careful as he is rare. Miura then reminds Reito again that he needs to make children to restore the male population and prevent extinction. Reito, hesitant to indulge, suggests trying artificial insemination, but Miura pops his bubble and says that they have already tried, but the baby born out of it died 3 days later. Reito then suggests trying artificial insemination using the surviving male semen, but Miura tells him that they have tried using Number 1's semen. But this method didn't get the woman pregnant. However, she adds that Number 1 managed to impregnate the woman by maintaining normal sexual relations with her in a natural biological way. The child was born safe and is now humanity's last hope. Reito still finds it hard to digest all of this information. He requests them to let him go, but Miura refuses, keeping him to preserve his genes. She shows him a tablet that has pictures of naked women, asking him to choose one for mating. Reito denies doing anything such, so to convince him, Miura calls in Mahiro. Mahiro and Reito reunite, and they see Ryu lying in a cryogenic chamber. Reito sees his brother in the cell and realizes how important it is to get a vaccine and help his brother, who might be cured and be reawakened. Reito decides to help in order to save his brother. Later, Reito inquires Mahiro about Elisa, who informs him that Elisa disappeared 3 years ago without leaving any trace. Miura interrupts them and adds that Elisa might have been caught in an accident or have died. Reito refuses to believe her, and he starts crying and then calls Elisa on her phone, but the call doesn't connect. Miura talks to her superior, who instructs her to get Reito to have him hit the home run with any girl. Miura has no other option but to say yes to her boss. To handle the matter herself, Miura enters Reito's room and strips herself naked, revealing her luscious body to him. Miura climbs on Reito and seduces him, begging him to plant his seed inside her. Reito is about to give in when he suddenly remembers Elisa promising that she would wait. Reito pushes her away and apologizes. Miura gives up and leaves his room disappointed. This boy will die a virgin. The next day, Miura takes Reito to a room and reveals a window that exposes hundreds of naked women. She asks him to mate with any one of them, whichever he finds attractive. Reito refuses to be used as livestock, but Miura tells him that all the women present are interested because the baby that will be born will be virus-free and hold importance. She adds that the males kept in the cryogenic chambers, including Ryu, can only survive for 1 more year since the cryogenic process cannot delay the inevitable death. Reito feels immense pressure and sighs, requesting Miura to give him 1 month to find Elisa so he can mate with her and have children with her instead. Miura agrees but puts her terms in front, telling him that she will be sending new naked women every day to his room to sleep with him, in order to create opportunities for him to procreate. Miura then smirks and challenges him that if he is loyal to the girl that he wants to mate with, he can resist all the naked women. But she also adds that he can gladly procreate with anyone, as she won't mind.